How much basketball do you play with other elite basketball players? That's a question you got to ask yourself here. If you're going to go pro, how much elite basketball do you get? Because again, I spoke earlier about sometimes we live in a bit of a bubble as a player. Yeah, we live in a bubble as a player. We think we're, really good. Maybe we are pretty good. Okay. But that idea is created and formed from the basketball that you play most frequently. So whether that's in the domestic competition where you're beating up the opposition and scoring 20 points a game, but maybe you're in Division 5. So time to move up to 4, 3, 2, and 1, hopefully. Now, are you still dropping 20 points in Division 1 at your age level? If you are, that's great. But here's the point. You don't have to stop there, because if you're dropping 20 points in Div 1, okay, and you're obviously feeling that you love basketball and you want to take this further, you can play up a level 2. Okay, if you're supposedly playing under 14s, you could play under 16s. Can you drop 20 points at under 16s even though you're only 13 years old? Okay, and there's many casual scenarios to also provide yourself that elite competition. All right, even just at the casual ballpark, playing against older players in that sort of situation. Don't get me wrong, you might still beat them up, great, but sometimes you'll find that that's not always the case. Okay, and I think it's easy sometimes to get lost in the, I'm really good because I score a lot in the lunch break, when I scrimmage with my mates. But you really do have to find yourself in the elite sort of opportunities where you'll have others that have similar goals and have similar skill sets, and then you'll have a better measure of where you're at and what you need to work on to obviously keep growing your game.
Well, there's a phrase that I'd want to utter. It's water finds its level. And if you're actively seeking your level, then you will find it. But if you don't, you actually might miss that opportunity. So it's important for you to take those opportunities to play with someone else's team if they offer it to you, or going up that extra level. But I actually interpreted this dot point a little bit differently. When you're working with others with similar goals, or if you're trying to find your level, even if you just do a shoot around, if I called you up and said, hey, I want to do a shoot around, at least my experience of shooting around, 9 times out of 10, you have a chat, you shoot, putting up some shots while you do it, and then you play one-on-one, and then you go do something else. We could hypothetically, hey, today I want to work on my jump shot, right? I want to do set shots at different locations. Can you rebound the ball for me? Then I'll do the same for you. That's having a similar goal. If you want someone to be your defender, be like, hey, can you put just a hand up? Because I'm struggling at this point of blocking out the defender, and I just need to tunnel vision the ring. I don't need you to block me. I just need you to be there so I physically shoot over something or someone. That's working with a similar goal. And it's the same as everything, where it might be dribbling, right? Hopefully the person you're with, if they're, in a feedback loop, that will give you a tip. Be like, hey, this is what I do for this, or can you do this dribble move? There are things that you can gain off other players that if you're creating those opportunities, they're there. If you're with similar-minded people, and this especially happens in the teenage bracket, right? We're going to shoot hoops for a little bit, and then we're going to go to the shopping center, or we're going to go to the park, or we're going to go to someone's house and play games, or we're going to do something illegal, because that also happens in the teenage bracket. But ultimately, who is your social circle, and how are they helping you grow as a player? Because all of those things come into it. All right. And we understand the importance of peer pressure, or, social groups at this age bracket. But if you really do have those aspirations, surely you're looking at those guys in the NBA that get drafted at 18 and 19. I don't know what your age is if you're listening to this, but if you're a teenager, the earliest eligible is 13, and you got 5 years to figure it out. So yeah, those silly nights where you have parties that you shouldn't, or where you're always playing PS5 on the weekend, maybe aren't as productive to your future NBA career, if that's your aspiration.